Welcome back to another episode of the North Star Takes podcast. I'm Bailey Palicki. He's Jacob Liberta. If you're new to the channel or you're a Minnesota sports fan, please give this channel a subscribe and give this video a like, as we're going to be talking Minnesota Timberwolves and specifically Anthony Edwards. We've kind of been talking about the Wolves as a team lately, but I think we just need a video dedicated to Ant because he's just been going off these last couple games, literally carrying us to victory against the Indiana Pacers, which they're not a great team, and they just shook up their team at the deadline. But, after what he described as like a knee injury that's been bugging him for about a month and a half, basically saying he hasn't felt like himself. He hasn't been having as much fun playing basketball because his knee's been bugging him so bad. He hasn't missed any games because of it, but he says he's back to normal now, and it sure seems that way after consecutive games over 30 points for the first time in his career. 3 just really strong games in a row, and I mean, we've all kind of, noticed that he's got the potential to, really take off and be a star in this league. But when he starts putting together little stretches like this, where you see it game after game after game, and even like playing complete games, not like, fading away for a quarter or two and, just really giving it his all for a whole game. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on the evolution of Anthony Edwards here, and how good do you think this guy can get?
Yeah, his progression has been incredible in just a season and a half so far. Well, a little bit more than that, I would say. But still, I mean, he's a 20-year-old kid, and he's just lighting the world on fire. Like you said, lately he's been ramping it up, dropping 30 a game. And I watched that Bulls game the other night when they played one of the best teams in the NBA on the road, and he was just having his way in the paint. Like every time he'd go downhill, he'd get a bucket because they had no answers for him defensively at the rim. So this guy can do it, play inside and out. He can just put up these highlight reel dunks and just destroy people. And then you also have those nights like, for instance, in Golden State towards the beginning of the season, we had 48 and he could hit a bunch of threes. Like this guy is the whole package. And when he's engaged on defense, he can fly all over the place too and come up with a bunch of possession enders with blocks and steals. So I think the sky's the limit for Ant, and you're just seeing a glimpse of it right now. I mean, in his second season, he's what I think is a borderline all-star. I think he should be in the all-star game. I know that can be debated, but still playing at an all-star level. So he's only going to get better. He's only 20. So I'm fascinated to see how high that level really gets to, just because you can see the glimpses, but it's like when you put it together in a sustained stretch, like you said, with his first consecutive 30-point games like that.
Yeah,
I think that's amazing, and it's only gonna get better from here. Hopefully, comes out of the All-Star break hot and brings us into a playoff series in April and really helps us maybe win a couple playoff games. I think that'd be awesome and a good step towards the future as far as turning ourselves into a legit contender in this Western Conference.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Like you said, he's only 20 years old, which means he was born in 2001. Which is crazy to think about. But then you look at this guy's numbers, from last year to this year, he's improved in basically every category. Field goal percentage is up almost 30%. 3-point percentage is up over 30%. His effective field goal percent is up almost 50%. Like, I mean, this dude is, or not 50%, sorry. 3%, 4%, something like that. Yeah. But, I mean, he's improving in every single category. He's more efficient with his 3-point shot, which we were kind of worried about his shot after last season. Like, okay, he likes to take the threes, but can he make the threes? He's kind of proven this year, shooting at 36% threes. I mean, you'd like to see that get up a little bit, but like that's second best on the Timberwolves right now. So can't really complain about that. So personally, I'd like to see him attack the rim more, which he has been doing as of late, because I think he's unguardable going to the rim. I think he's he's not LeBron, but he's got a LeBron James type build where when he gets going to the basket, I don't think there's many guys that can stop him. Eventually, he's going to get the superstar whistle where he's getting to the foul line more. We've seen him get frustrated with refs lately. He's yelling at them, after basically every time he goes to the basket, he turns around, puts his hands up. He's gotten a couple technicals and even got tossed from that Hawks game a while back. But, this is a guy who thinks he's a superstar and deserves a superstar whistle, and I love that. Yeah. And you're seeing the same issue with Cat, and I think Cat should be getting a superstar whistle at this point in his career, but the refs do not respect him, and he does get in their face a lot, so that's probably part of it. But the stuff that Anthony Edwards has done, I I still go back to the Miami game earlier this season where he got in Jimmy Butler's face. He did not back down. He dunked all over that dude on the Heat. I don't even remember that dude's name that he dunked
Vincent,
on.
yeah.
Yes, Vincent. And
Yeah.
the dunk didn't even count, but it was like the best dunk of the season. It's insane what this guy has done. 20 years old, man. Like, Cat's a great player. He's having one of his most efficient offensive seasons of his career, but it's hard to say Anthony Edwards, I think he has the potential to be the best Timberwolf of all time. No disrespect to Garnett, who, he was a power forward who, don't get me wrong, very good player.
MVP.
But he won MVP. But like his scoring number, and obviously scoring is up in the NBA in general, but his scoring numbers were not that high. Like even Cat, like consistently outscores Kevin Garnett, year to year. But like Anthony Edwards is just that perfect build of what you want in a franchise player. He's a LeBron James, Dwayne Wade type build, Kobe Bryant, if you will. Like he's your wing player that can ball handle. He could play point. He can defend multiple positions because of his size and his athleticism. Can go to the basket, can shoot, anywhere on the floor. I mean, what more do you want out of this guy other than just a little more consistency? Because I honestly don't know.
Yeah, and consistency might just be a thing that he's young and that's something he'll grow into and he'll come out every night just with these star performances. Now, you throw in all these names, Bailey, all these basketball Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers. Now, are you willing to put Ant in the Michael Jordan era?
I know our buddy Jackson would be, but
yes,
I think there are some similarities in playing style. Maybe not even necessarily in playing style, because Jordan was a lot more of a shooter, although he could go to the basket. But in terms of like swag, and I think the leadership is there too with Ant. It's just going to take a little bit to see that even more. I think there's definitely some similarities there, but in terms of like being on Jordan's level, I mean, I need to see a lot more to get to that point. And I'm not even saying he can get to LeBron's level, maybe D Wade's level, but like, I don't know. The sky's the limit. As long as this guy doesn't have some bad luck with injuries, throughout his career, if we can keep, having some decent teams around him, it'd be really nice to keep him and Cat together for sure for the foreseeable future. But I think if we can keep him in a good situation, I think he's got a really good chance of, even within the next couple of years here. I think it's hard. I mean, he's probably close to top 30 to 40 NBA player right now. But within the next couple of years, I think he's easily got the potential to be top 10. I mean, once these older guys get out of the league, maybe even top 5. So, because you got to get guys like Curry out of the league. I'm sure most people will still put LeBron up there. So you got guys like Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, who are all kind of dominating, and they're in the MVP conversation. Ja Morant. So Ant's got some work to do to get up there. But I mean, I don't see with the way his game is and the way his swag is and his confidence. I don't see how he couldn't get there, honestly.
Yeah. What's amazing to me now that I think about it, you throw out all these names and like, for instance, Ja Morant, former number 2 overall pick recently. Let's compare like maybe not necessarily apples to apples. It was kind of close to that because coming into the draft when the Wolves had that number 1 pick, it felt like there were 3 guys take at that spot between Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, and LaMelo Ball. And everybody's like, I don't know if there's really a clear-cut number 1 guy to take here. Whereas the year before that, everybody was just on the mountaintops singing about Zion, how good this guy was going to be, and how this is the next LeBron. His unique size and ability is just something the NBA hasn't seen at this young of an age and since LeBron back in 2004. But it's like now, compare it now. I mean, which player would you rather have? I feel like the answer is obvious with all Zion's injury issues, and I don't think it's even close. Or you'd rather have Ant than Zion for the foreseeable future, and how the tables have turned really, because Ant feels like the guy who feels like he's on his way towards being a top player in the NBA, and now talking about Zion, I know in some circles at least you kind of got to start maybe considering him as a bust. I don't know. I know it's still kind of early, but still, how many games that guy played in his NBA career, and is he sustainable for the long term? I don't know.
Yeah, Zion's interesting because the dude looked like an absolute beast his rookie season in the NBA. Obviously, injury issues. People worry about his weight, like stuff like that. I mean, Memphis definitely got the better end of that deal getting Ja Morant because that dude's a superstar.
Oh,
He's going to
yeah.
win an MVP in this league, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would much rather have Ant than Zion. It's not even close. But I mean, think about at the time, people were like, man, we could really use a James Wiseman. We could really use that size. And look at him. I mean, he's been hurt for the Warriors and he hasn't played that well when he has played. And he's still young. He's got time to develop. But man, we dodged a bullet there. People, also there was a lot of people that wanted LaMelo. I even wanted him for a little bit. But I don't know if that personality would have meshed well with Cat and D'Lo. Obviously, the LeVar Ball factor we did not need here as well.
No.
And yeah, just having like 2 point guards, I feel like D'Lo would have been the odd man out eventually, and it would have just gotten weird. So, LaMelo is going to be a really good player too, I think, because he's got that triple double potential every single night. But I don't know, like I just think Ant's the perfect player for this situation. Just he brings that energy and that excitement that this fan base needs. He's a showman. Like one dunk can change the entire, momentum of a game because the crowd gets up off their feet, they get loud, the Wolves go on a run. Like he's got that flair, and he entertains the fans. He's always putting his hands up in the air and yelling and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
call timeout.
Exactly. Yeah, stuff like all the theatrics, all the great post-game comments he makes. Like it's it's a completely different approach, to life and to the game than like Cat and D'Lo have, which is totally fine because I think all three of them have different personalities, but they all can intermingle well. And that's what I think makes this big three special. But I think Ant's light, fun personality is a huge driving force. And honestly, in the success this team is having this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about a week ago when Ant was kind of in that slump and really the bench was carrying us, but now Ant's coming alive. And we talked about this, that Ant's kind of the X factor that takes us over the top and raises the ceiling like farther than I think any Wolves fan can imagine, really. I mean, even the most optimistic of them out there. And you're really seeing it. We're a juggernaut on offense right now. Like we're putting up 120, 130 every night. I mean, granted, that's coupled with giving up 120 every night, feels like now. But still, this offense has been even more efficient in the entire calendar year of 2022 so far than the Phoenix Suns, who are the best team in the NBA. So I think that says something about this big three and beyond. So I'm really excited with the potential here. It's just we got to apply ourselves a little bit more on defense like we did earlier this season. I get that's probably going to take a little bit away from our offense, but I think that can make us a really dangerous team to move up in the standings and win more games and win some games that people wouldn't expect us to. So when Ant's going like this, I mean, the Wolves, I don't think that's a team you necessarily want to pick to play in that first round in the West, no matter who you are, really, because we can score with the best of them. I get our defense has got to get better, but when you're playing an offense like ours, like you can, no matter who you are, you can lose against a team that shoots the lights out when they come in, if they're coming in your building or you're going on the road or whatever it might be. So I think I like this side of Ant being unlocked, and hopefully it's here to stay. Like you said, just finding that consistency as a young player in this league.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on the defense. It seems, at one point they were able to find the defense, but not the offense. Now it's flipped. So maybe after the All-Star break, you give Chris Finch a week to really do some digging and figure out how to fix this so you can have a nice balance. I think he can do it. I think he's been a fantastic coach. He should absolutely be in the running for Coach of the Year. He probably won't win it just based on like what the Suns and the Grizzlies are doing this year, the Bulls as well.
Exactly.
Even Cleveland Cavaliers. So, I mean, it's going to be a long shot, I think, for Chris Finch to win Coach of the Year. But just imagining Anthony Edwards leading this team in a playoff series, like that's what I'm looking forward to now. Because, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but they're all but a lock basically to make the play-in.
It feels like
so if they can just make a push for the 6th seed here and just guarantee themselves a series, I think that's really what the goal should be now. So it's just it's so much fun to have faith as a Wolves fan, and Anthony Edwards is probably 80% of why a lot of Wolves fans have faith. Because nothing against Cat and D'Lo, if it was just the two of them, I think this team has probably got a losing record and is maybe on the bubble of being a play-in team.
Yep, totally agree.
So I mean. Yeah, it's crazy how, especially in the NBA, one guy can just change an entire franchise. But
it really can. When he's got the undeniable alpha personality, it's fantastic.
Yes, and the Wolves have needed a guy like this for so long. So hopefully they can keep him happy and keep him around for a long time. But we don't have to worry about that for now. So that's going to do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Be sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button on this channel. Give us a follow on both Twitter and Instagram, and leave your comments below. What are your thoughts on Anthony Edwards? How much does he have to do with your excitement as a Wolves fan? And what are your thoughts on his potential going forward within the next couple of years here? Because I think he's going to be a really, really special player. So until next time, thanks for watching.